Chaz.
So I know you guys have already mentioned Hiatus Coyote. Do you have any other big influences into your overall sound?
I like personally so we each have our all different influences. I grew up playing metal, like
Yeah.
Lamb of God kind of stuff, prog, like all that kind of. So I, like Dream Theater was like a big one for me growing up. Like Mike Portnoy, his drum style was big for me. Nowadays, like I play along to a lot of electronic stuff. So like anything Dilla basically is right up my alley. Like I love those just weird, complex like micro rhythms, like quintuplet backbeats, that kind of stuff. So that's generally mine. So Questlove, Christine, those kind of guys. Kareem Riggins.
Oh yeah.
Kareem Riggins,
He's like my top right now. That's the guy.
His beats that he makes.
He's ridiculous. Just absurd artist. Yeah.
What about you?
My
guys?
turn? Oh man. So I grew up, my mom was actually a piano and voice teacher.
Okay.
And so when I was growing up, I was really into classical music, and anything that was outside of that was stuff that my parents deemed was okay.
Mm-hmm.
So, I grew up listening to a lot of Elton John and Billy Joel and the Beatles and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. So I really liked that. And then once I started getting older and into middle school area and started hearing my other friends' music and got a hold of hip hop, I was like, this is really interesting. And so specific influences, singing wise, I really grew up listening to a lot of Nina Simone and Annie Lennox, and I really liked a lot of jazz singers because I really liked how live they sounded, and how personable they were when they performed. But musically speaking, Hiatus Coyote is a huge influence for me. I think Napalm is amazing, and I think those are huge ones for Chaz for me.
Absolutely. The first music I chose to listen to, I guess, was introduced to me by a friend in middle school who's June. He's in June. He's in a band called Tabemono in New York right now, but I hadn't listened to rap before that, so he had cataloged every single Eminem song ever and had this master USB stick. But yeah, then throughout high school I started getting into more kind of jazzy hip hop and Nujabes. Super into him, and let's see, just a bunch of Tribe Called Quest, Farside, all those people, and then in college got into more of the neo soul stuff Hiatus and all these people, Moonchild. So yeah. Absolutely. How about you, Karen?
So when I was the youngest, or first music I remember listening to is my parents did classic rock, so I listened to that a lot. But then when I started to take piano lessons, I got into John Williams a bunch, and I mainly got into piano with film. Once I got past learning it, Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. That whole book was the first thing that I knew that was interesting music that someone else had written out as just a practice sheet,
Mm-hmm.
So I really like music, film scores, and particularly his. I got into E.T. and Jurassic Park and all that stuff. As far as current modern stuff goes, I listen to Fall Out Boy as they were my number one band from probably I think 7th grade on to into high school.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't get into hip hop until I listened to Childish Gambino. Because I knew him from Community, and then he released that royalty mixtape, and then had all these features of all these other rappers that I just never heard of because I never really listened to it.
Yeah.
So that got me into hip hop. So I always had this weird I liked listening to that stuff, but then for piano stuff I'd play film scores. I did a lot of show tunes and stuff because I was friends with a lot of choir kids in high school.
Mm-hmm.
So it wasn't until a lot later that I actually married the two together until I met these guys.
Mm-hmm. Cool.
Absolutely. So I was raised on the Beatles. In 3rd grade, I was obsessed with the Beatles, and so that was a great foundation. Just dove right in. A little later on in middle school, when I started playing bass, I started getting into definitely Primus, Les Claypool, huge influence. Red Hot Chili Peppers, and
but then I started listening to I had a CD of Frank Zappa's, and he opened up my world. He might be my favorite artist. He got me into the shit that's like, you know, like challenging to the ear and stuff, and like the weird shit, you know. And then like from then on, I like Jaco Pastorius, of course, Weather Report. Definitely like you know, like Return to Forever. I like, you know, Victor Wooten, just people who are at like the top of their craft. Bela Fleck. So I've been listening to all that. But I think I was in high school and I got Mad Villainy. I wasn't really even into rap. I got Mad Villainy, and that shit was just so wild. I was just drawn to that, hip hop or not. But it wasn't until a few years later that I actually started pursuing rap. Busta Rhymes actually got me to start rapping.
Oh, really?
When Look at Me Now came out, I became obsessed with like how he could do, like how can he bend and twist the syllables in such a way.
Yeah.
I ended up putting a YouTube video out. Really white dude kills Busta Rhymes verse. I got like 3,000 hits.
Oh, really?
And then after that, I just dove into the world of hip hop. Like studied every rap, all the essentials, every rapper, every flow. You know, trying to, you know, just engulfing myself. If I had to say like a flow or like rap style, some of my biggest rap influences, I believe, come from New York. MF Doom obviously is way up there in my influence, but then just like the flowers, like Big Pun, Big L, Jay-Z, Mos Def, Taleb, you know, all the flowers. Outkast definitely was big for me too. So it's like listening to hip hop stuff at the same time listening to the other like jazzy stuff.
Yeah.
You could probably ask us all that like several times, and we'd get more and more names each time.
Yeah.
Like I'm forgetting so many.
Yeah, that's
like,
a big one. That's a big.
Freddie Mercury too is like a big one for me
Oh,
that I just totally forgot.
yeah,
I like
of course.
can't not say that. That's like such a big one.
Yeah. So in a similar vein, if you guys could collaborate with any musician, dead or alive,
Oh God.
who would
Oh
it be?
my.
I know that's kind of a hard question.
Right now,
Ooh.
at this moment, since we've been listening to it a lot, Tigran
Tigran,
Hamasyan.
yeah.
Tigran Hamasyan.
That guy is insane.
Oh man. Yeah.
Gotta
Look
look
it
him
up.
up.
Yeah.
If you're
Armenian
sleeping, you gotta look him up.
Yeah,
I'm not familiar with them.
He's like a jazz
Oh, yeah.
pianist.
Like
Like
mixes
really,
like
it's amazing.
Armenian folk music with jazz and some like neo soul elements, and then he's also a huge metalhead. So like, just
It's just
crazy.
wild. We've been legit freaking out the
Yeah.
whole week.
We like
about
played the
Tigran.
record like the whole way here and back like yesterday.
It's pretty
Popular people though, oh man. I
Amy
feel like
Winehouse.
Travis Scott would be amazing
Oh, yeah.
because he has like so many people he collabs with that I also
sure.
love. Like, I mean, anywhere from Stevie Wonder to like Kevin Parker from Tame Impala. Like he collabs with everybody.
If we got a Tame Impala collab,
That would be cool,
I'd
too.
be
Yeah.
happy. I'd be happy.
As
with
for
that.
dead people, Amy Winehouse.
Oh,
yes,
yeah.
yes,
Of
Uh-huh.
course.
I think that would
Absolutely.
be so much fun. Like it would have been so much fun to play to her stuff. It's just
Yeah.
really, like that Motown kind of feel. It's really cool.
Yeah.
So
Man.
Dilla.
Dilla. I mean, obviously,
for
yeah.
sure.
Yeah. Oh,
Dilla.
yeah.
I love Dilla. I'd like to
Pharrell
do.
Williams.
I'd like to do a
Yeah, also.
collab with Madlib for sure.
Yeah.
That'd be nice. As far as a rapper, well, MF Doom, obviously. Yeah, MF Doom. Or
Obviously,
Earl
yeah.
Sweatshirt, maybe.
Oh
Yeah.
my gosh, yeah.
Man, I don't know.
His new album was crazy.
Probably Busta Rhymes. I'd like to do some crazy fast shit with Busta Rhymes, like back and forth shit.
No Name.
No
No
Name.
Name.
Yeah.
Gotta love No Name.
No name.
No name
Or
beat.
anyone from that Chicago scene.
Oh my god,
Yeah.
Saba.
Saba.
Oh God.
Quit
Yeah.
Jenkins.
Saba's crazy.
Yeah.
Vince Staples.
Vince Staples.
If you guys could describe the Emperor Chaz sound in 3 words, what would it be?
God. This has been like a battle, I think, since we started.
Can we have like hyphens?
Yeah, do hyphens count? Yeah, that's big.
We probably say
Uh,
hip hop, jazz, neo soul.
okay.
That's
Right.
usually what we land
Yeah.
on. Yeah.
Is the three big ones. But then there's like the Venn diagrams because there's a lot of other.
Yeah, because that's still super vague, you know, like just neo soul in general, like hip hop, you know. It's weird because I have a lot of difficulty, at least for me, like describing our stuff. to people, and I don't want that to sound like we're doing all this like crazy shit, you know. It's just like it's like really just weird, you know. And like I think the genre itself is just like kind of like vague. I think
one of the problems I think we face is there is not too many people like doing the same type of music that we're doing in the area that we are. Like in New York, there's a lot of groups that are neo soul and stuff, but in Columbus, it's like people are like, our music is kind of like 21 Pilots. It's kind of like that's what we usually get. And I'm like,
there's some good live hip hop bands with hip hop and jazz and stuff. And then there's people who are more on the neo soul spectrum. Nobody quite has the particular mix of that we have at the moment.
Well,
at least like in our area, as far as we've been able to.
Yeah,
it's definitely like since 21 Pilots got big, like alternative hip hop has been a thing in Columbus.
A huge thing.
So it's kind of like sometimes the way I describe ourselves, just to kind of reel people in.
Alternative hip hop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think like we've all kind of had this dream that Columbus would be like a Chicago scene at some point.
Yeah.
It's the big goal. It's the big goal to make Columbus the next great music city.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a great goal.